Hey guys, today I thought I would just give you an up-close look at how the garden is doing, and we are working on our pantry countertops, so there's going to be a little bit of that too.
Practicing on a scrap piece before I do the real thing.
It's pretty good.
Looks better.
Yeah. I think your shop needs some cleaning though.
Yeah.
Some organizing. I'm getting so big. Look at these guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I've never smelled anything like that. I can't describe it. It's almost like a gardenia, but citrusy smelling. It smells so good. Look at all the flowers on there. And then look at these ones have purple flowers. I'm definitely gonna have to seed save these. It smells so good over here. Oh, that's amazing. These are the fava bean plants. I haven't been able to do much gardening because it's been raining a ton here and we're getting a full week of rain next week. So I really want to do some more gardening videos for you guys, but I haven't been able to because of that. Aren't those beautiful though? They're nice and tall now. Here's the asparagus. Seeds come up nicely. And there's a bunch of purple ones too. Look at this tall guy. That's exciting. Pretty cool. So there's I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a bunch of asparagus that have come up. There's the garlic, and you can see the weeds on the side there. Let me go over there and show you. So the side doesn't have any hay. You can see the dirt right through, but the middle part has lots of hay, so there aren't any weeds in the middle. So I'm gonna have to go in and, because this is mounded up. I don't know if you can really tell on the video. It's mounded up, so you can't really pack hay on the sides too well. So I'm gonna have to go deeper on there and pull those weeds out. But also, we've got potatoes coming up. Look at these guys. These are the blue potatoes that we planted, so that's exciting. Just a bunch of little daffodils coming up here. I love daffodils. And this is kind of funny. I planted these daffodil bulbs over 2 years ago and they never came up. This is the first year that they've ever come up. So I don't know what took them so long, but I'm sure glad that they did. Someone's getting some outside playtime. Oh, and the grass is wet. Your poor fur's getting all wet. I'm gonna have to comb you out when we get inside, huh? Oh, bunnies. The daikon radishes are doing really well, the ones that did survive, and there's actually quite a lot, so I'm pretty happy. The garlic out here is doing good. There's lots of onions coming up, or that have come up and are doing well. The Brussels sprouts had a rough start because they had a few days of like a really hard frost, so they got bit back quite a bit, but they've put off new growth, so I think those are all gonna make it. I'm really happy about that. The purple kohlrabi is doing all right considering that they've had a torrential downpour the last couple weeks. We did lose a few, but they're surviving so far, so we'll see how these do if they end up really making it. The new fava beans that we planted just a few weeks ago are doing really, really well. They've all started coming up and they're getting a lot of leaves. They do have aphids though, bean aphids, so I am gonna do a video on an aphid deterrent and an aphid repellent, or aphid killer that's all natural, so stay tuned for that. The second round of purple hull peas have come up and they're doing really, really well. We're about to trellis these really soon. And then over here, the bulbs that we planted are doing really well. They've all come up, so all of the irises and daffodils have come up, and the crocus. And look at this. There's a few crocuses, yellow ones, and they're so pretty. I love yellow. Isn't that pretty? So this lone daffodil over here by our apple tree came up, and obviously it's one of the bulbs I planted a few years ago, but I didn't plant it over here, so I don't know how it ended up over here. This is like really far on the other side of our property, so kind of cool. So over in this corner, I threw out a bunch of kale seeds because I just wanted to see if I could get like a little kale forest going over here. And they've all come up. You can see, I tilled it first, so you can see all of these sprouts are kale, but it's also poppies and some foxglove for next year. So all of these little green sprouts are the poppy seeds that I planted late in the season. I think it was early January that I spread these out. So we'll see how this little wild patch does this year. Yeah, it's been so windy. A bunch of trash has gotten blown in, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna have to get a long stick and get all that stuff out of the pond. The pond is really full right now. We've had, again, so much rain, but I wanted to show you guys all the irises I planted a couple years ago around the pond. And we mowed all of these down in the fall. Or we mowed them all down in the fall. So this is all new growth that you see here, and I planted them all along the edge of this pond. And these were wild irises that we dug up from other places on the property. And then I planted a few Siberian irises. That's what these long, skinny ones are. And then there's also some glads in there too. So there's a bunch of irises, and then these are willows, wild willows that I really need to get control of. But over here, on the other side of the pond, this is where we planted those elephant ears. So those should be coming up once it gets consistently warm. Oh no, someone knocked over some of my daffodils. Darn Garrett. So these are some double daffodils that I planted over here when we first moved here a couple years ago. So those are all coming up and looking pretty. The walking onions are nice and thick. Oh my goodness. I am gonna do a giveaway soon for some walking onions because these were given to me by a really nice lady on Facebook. So I'm gonna pay it forward and give you guys some of these. So stay tuned for that, because there's gonna be a video just for a nice little giveaway for you guys. And look, some of them are already starting to bud out. Isn't that cool? This is the peony that you guys saw me plant in my garden bed last year. I actually this summer dug it up and moved it into this pot because we're redoing that garden and tilling up the entire thing, and it's doing really well. It's already come up, which is nice. In this little container I have some peppers that have sprouted in there. It's kind of just an experiment. So over here is my Goji Berry plant. It's leafed out. It actually stayed leafed out all through winter, even in the frost. I'm really shocked. I didn't realize that Goji berries were that hardy. But this is in the garden that I had last year, the kitchen garden that I'm digging up. So I have to dig up all of these plants, and there's so many in here. There's this huge vibrant bonariensis, Verbena bonariensis. So I need to dig that up really soon, plant it somewhere else, and that spreads like crazy. You can see all the dead growth from the winter time on there, but I'm really impressed with the Goji berry. It's looking really good. I'm gonna have to dig that one up.
I cut the corner rounded edge off. So when you buy these at the lumber yard, they have a rounded edge on it, on the board, and we're gonna use these as countertops. So we wanted to take the edge off with the table saw, and so I just took ended up being 1/8 of an inch off of each side, just to give it that really hard edge, sharp edge. so these will butt up together. And the way I'm going to butt them up together is use a Craig jig and put a pocket hole in the board, so then I can screw them together laid out, and then we're going to glue the seams, that way it'll have a nice strong joint, because this is going to be a tabletop or a countertop, and it's going to take some damage or some abuse, I think. So once we do that, then we'll stain it. So I'm going to put some pocket holes in this thing. Got a big number right there.
Oh yeah, we'll just sand off the
Numbers.
yeah, the numbers. We're inside now, and I'm just combing Luke Skyhopper, and look, he's got grass all in him, and I just combed this out of him. That's why I don't really like him to be on the wet grass, but he hadn't been outside in several days, so I knew he wanted some fresh air. So I just use a regular comb. There's special combs that you can use for rabbits, but I just really like this one because it has a little pick on the end, and if there's any like matted fur, I can get it out. But I'm just really, really gentle with them because rabbits have really sensitive skin, and you don't want to injure them, so I kind of just take my time and comb him, and I do this every night because of the type of fur that he has. He's a fuzzy Holland Lop, and his fur gets easily matted, especially around the groin area and the undersides. So I'll flip him on his back and I'll just comb through him and make sure he's all nice and clean every day. So you can see I've got him on his back now, and you can see he's already got some just small signs of natting from being on the dirty ground. So I'll clean all this up, but that's why I like to comb him every day and groom him, especially when he's been outside. Aw, Lukey. Sweet boy. He doesn't mind. Doesn't mind being combed and groomed. So while I've got him on his belly here, I'm just trimming up the fur on the underside since it's coming spring, or it is spring, it's warming up, and he's going to be outside playing every day when it's sunny. I don't want him to get all natted on his belly because that's where they tend to get really natted up. And then I just kind of carefully check around the feet and see if there's anything natting up around the feet, and I'll trim that off too. And then of course, like you see his backside here, like this will be trimmed up too, because all of that drags on the ground. It's kind of like a skirt. But after a while, you'll know like what areas to trim up on them, because it'll be pretty much everything that touches the ground. Anywhere where he rubs his fur together a lot, it might get natted up. So after a while, you kind of know which areas to trim up. Sorry, I'm not done yet, mister. I'm not done yet. So after I've trimmed a little bit, I'll just go through and comb it and make sure there aren't any little tiny matted areas popping up. Get any grass out of there too. Right, Lukey? That's right. I think you're all done. I think you are. Let's see if there's any grass on your ears. All right, he's all clean now, groomed. Look at this, one day's adventure outside. Gross.